Hello everyone and welcome to your latest planning outlook that's updated on Friday the 3rd of July. I'm still starting with a load of sound effects that aren't really what we want to hear at the moment across the mountains, and it's still a rather unsettled pattern that takes us onwards through this week ahead. Some very strong winds coming through Saturday night onwards into Sunday as low pressure pulls through, and it stays blustery and cool with showers into next week. Brief windows of drier weather, but there's still some further Atlantic weather systems knocking on the door. Let's just start off then with showing you the big picture of what's going on over the next few days, and we'll flesh out some detail from there on. It's a series of weather systems over the North Atlantic at the moment, and a conveyor belt of fronts basically moving in with some rain and some low cloud pretty extensively through Saturday onwards into Sunday. Notice the developing feature just over the North Atlantic through Saturday daytime. That's what's likely to spin up as we go into Saturday night for the deeper area of low pressure that brings the risk of the very strongest winds Saturday night onwards into the early part of Sunday as that low swings eastwards across the British Isles, and it will leave in its wake a cool air mass that comes around from the northwest, meaning that generally chilly feel across the mountains will prevail into the start of next week. A bump of high pressure comes in from the west temporarily to follow that, but you can see over the Atlantic there's some further weather systems there, and those are the ones that are likely to be in play into the middle part of the week for some more wind and rain coming off the Atlantic. Let's put some detail on things then, and this is Saturday's chart, and a rather messy situation really. It's a general southwesterly flow, it's a humid atmosphere that's got tropical maritime air, and essentially all that's got is a lot of very low cloud shrouding the hills from lowest slopes up really around Irish Sea coast, with rain and drizzle much of the day in these places. Some more persistent falls just coming through in terms of steadier rainfall as well, so not a particularly pleasant picture across most western hills. Across Scotland, the rain a little bit patchier just to the north of that frontal zone, but still will occasionally come in from the west from time to time. Generally mild temperatures across England and Wales, a little bit cooler across the Scottish mountains. Now there's Sunday's chart, and it's that deep area of low pressure passing eastwards. A very windy day for all across the mountains, gales across the higher terrain pretty much everywhere all the way through the day, but some severe conditions, particularly in the morning across the Scottish Highlands, with wind gusts likely to be in excess of 70 miles per hour across much of the higher terrain, and the highest tops, Ben Nevis Cairngorm Plateau, could be over 80 or 90 in gusts at least for a spell early in the day. So keep an eye on the forecast for that one, but either way it's likely to be a very turbulent one. It's a day where there's a wraparound of a front as well for some prolonged periods of rain likely across the northern side of Scotland, but away from that it's showery, with those showers drifting generally from west to east through the day. Fewer and further between the further south you go. Once you get the cold front clearing across the South Pennines and Wales, showers generally pretty scattered and just blowing through on the wind, with a bit of sunshine coming through at times. Temperatures then very much on the cool side, add on the wind chill, and it will be rather significant. Less windy as we go through into Monday, although still a chilly west by northwesterly breeze with that air coming off the North Atlantic. It's a day of sunshine and showers. Those showers could be frequent for a time, generally coming in from the west in the morning, which could give some frequent rain over a few hours and then tending to fade. Most of the showers confined further into central eastern parts of Scotland and more down the eastern side of the Pennines into Monday afternoon, with western areas generally becoming dry as pressure begins to build up from the southwest. That ridge of high pressure builds a bit further into Tuesday, with most places looking dry. One or two local showers can't be ruled out, but perhaps the pick of the days at this point, with generally some bright skies and some sunshine and cloud breaking to higher tops. Temperatures still a little bit on the cool side. We're then watching how soon the next set of fronts moves in from the Atlantic, because those are likely to arrive, might even get into the western side of Scotland before the end of Tuesday daytime, so be aware of this moving in from the west once again, and that then setting the scene for the middle part of the week. Precise detail uncertain, but it's the likelihood of low pressure being across the northern half of Britain once again, the risk of winds strengthening, perhaps to gale force for a time at least, and some rain and some showers, the heaviest of which will generally be across more western hills and mountains through the day on Wednesday. Looking at the later stages of the week, and much uncertainty just how things play out. These small centres of low pressure are still on the scene. It's a bit of back and forth between ridges of higher pressure and then troughs of lower pressure that try and swing through. So still pretty mixed, pretty unsettled, I think is the message later in the week. And it may be that even into next weekend, we're still looking at low pressure being around, with just the glimmer then of higher pressure starting to edge in from the west, for some suggestion at least of something more settled as we head toward the middle of the month. Stay up to date then with your local forecasts, handwritten every day for you on the MWIS website. Thanks for watching this video today. Next one online for you on Tuesday. Bye for now.